Hello, everybody. You know what time it is? I know what time it is. That's right. It's time for Syntax Live. I hope you're all doing well and Happy New Year to everybody out there. I hope the new year treats you well. In fact, I'm going to pop a top and I'm going to do the old Army thing. I raise a glass to your good health, everybody watching right now, and may prosperity find you this year. I know I kind of screwed it up, but it is what it is. So, first things first, folks, I just got to get this out of the way. If you can hear it, I sound a little under the weather because I am. I got something's going on in the sinuses. So, if you see me lean over and sneeze my brains out, that's there. And also, there's a storm going outside, and they're projecting loss of power sometime tonight. So, if the stream just cuts, I'm not screwing it up. If the stream fails on us, you guys know the rule. I don't try to add on extra streams unless I see something actually screwing up in the YouTube chat. So, again, if it quits, it quits. Aside from that, folks, we're back after 2 weeks. And I hope you guys enjoyed the Galactic War Games. Because, yes, it is done unless the Galactic War Games turns into, well, not a game. But we'll see how that goes. We'll see if there's enough views on it and enough interest in it to be continued. But for right now, it's done. Okay, season 3 is over. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the jokes in there. The first joke that somebody actually commented was the whole they disappeared like a fart in the wind. Apparently somebody hadn't heard that before. That is an old joke. Yeah. They used to say that about the guy that would come in and hit on your daughter. He's gonna do something to her and disappear like a fart in the wind. Why? Because if he gets found, he's gonna get a shotgun blast in the face. On a separate note, folks, and I surprisingly for 2 weeks I don't have a lot of notes. Everybody was talking about the mid rolls, the mid roll advertisements. You guys know I normally don't do that. The Galactic War Games just set it up so it could be done, and I thought, why the hell not? If you noticed on the first season, I didn't even know how to set up mid rolls, so there wasn't any in there. After that, I was like, you know what? Why the hell not? And it seemed to work, and hopefully you guys got a kick out of it, but don't get used to it. I don't do mid rolls unless I have 2 short stories that are only a couple minutes apiece, and then I'll put a mid roll somewhere in that. Aside from that, I know you guys don't want a mid roll, and I'm not going to do it. All right. Somebody put in the comment section about defaming human ships, like just calling them a flying brick. Oh my God, they're so ugly. Believe me, that thing keeps you alive. It's beautiful. It was actually kind of funny the way they put that in, but you don't mess around with somebody else's boat. You just don't do that. Now, since the War Games is over, I do have to say this. In this last season, I don't know. You guys are going to have to let me know if it was hinted at enough. I didn't want to say it directly, but in the first episode, the guy mentioned how there's a ring of asteroids and that it's a strange phenomenon. And that's why they chose the area, because it's not a normal thing that anyone deals with. Well, we have 2 of them. We have our standard asteroid belt just on the other side of Mars, and then we have the Kuiper belt. Where the hell do you think our guys are going to train at? So that's why our fighters and everything were doing so well. This was old hat to them. Not to mention, I kind of did rip off the Star Furies from Babylon 5, because let's face it, if there's a better snub fighter in science fiction, I'm all ears, but good luck trying. All right. Somebody said they like the Starship Troopers quote. Gee, I wonder where I might have picked that up from. Yes, I've had this copy for about 15 years. I read it once, a friend's copy, when I was just sitting in Iraq, and first chance I had, I went and picked up my own copy. I've read that thing like 5 times. Love that book. one of the best books I've ever read, actually. Oh, excuse me. Like I said, under the weather, guys. So if I make any weird noises, I apologize. Somebody actually brought in what's the number one rule? Never underestimate your opponent. Absolutely right. Of course, the first rule of a gunfight is always bring a gun. So it depends on, first rule of what. But yeah, they made a good. Sorry, guys. Again, I'm a little off today, but they made a good point on that. Also, somebody made a point that the Navy, our Navy, being the fact that ours were the newest ones, shouldn't have done so well. Okay, apparently I need to push down more on certain things because it was said right in the beginning of this season that most everybody else has not even used their fleet in almost a century. They're considered a relic because if you got your territory is, say, 500 planets, occupied planets, plus another probably 1,000 that are unoccupied, by the time 10 of your planets are even taken, you've already built up your forces and you're going to force back against them, or you're going to loop around them and you're going to take their planets away. And then it's just going to be this back and forth because it takes, even with FTL, it takes a long time to rebuild the ships that you've lost, to retrain the people you've lost, to set up whatever provincial government you're going to have on said planet, start harvesting materials and all that. It takes time. Your FTL could be instantaneous like the freaking Stargate, and it wouldn't matter. It's still going to take a long time between planet to planet to planet, and within that time, you're going to get bogged down. So their fleets were more just for show. They did have a purpose, but they are more just for show. Us, let's face it, we're humans. We're going to practice beating the hell out of each other, if nothing else, just to stay in practice. So that's how that came in. Somebody brought up the idea that Human Steve was part of MI, military intelligence. I will neither confirm nor deny this. Let's see. Okay, this is one that I got to bring this up because the jokes wrote themselves. I know you guys just love the one where they're kicking the sacks, and the one guy is talking about a one-legged man in an ass kicking contest. That one, honestly, I start off that one really serious, and then I got to the names. I was like, you know what, I'm going to play with this, and then it just came out, and it came out, I think, pretty decent. That being said, somebody put in the comment section how the human rods penetrate real easy into them. Look, guys, the jokes write themselves. And one of the ones that everybody keeps missing is, say you get a torpedo into any, and I mean any ship. It doesn't matter if it's floating on the water or floating in space. If it is able to get into the superstructure and detonate, it's going to break the keel. The keel of the ship is necessary. And guess what? You break the keel, you literally blew their back out. It's just that simple. Like I said, the jokes write themselves on that. The problem is they go over and over and say the same thing over and over again. So I'm trying to get away from that. I do apologize if I get a little redundant, but let's face it, it's an easy joke. That is not just low-hanging fruit. That's fruit dangling in your face. Okay, I hope nobody makes a meme out of that, because then I'm in trouble. Something dangling in your face. No, that's not. Anyways, one of the other comments was how the Marines, i.e. the shock troopers, took it easy on the enemy. I am actually surprised somebody picked that up, because it's true. In all honesty, I used a mix of, excuse me, 40K, Space Marines, and ODST. They were actually working together. And the ODST guys were there so they could move around the station a lot easier, and the Space Marines were going with that big shield that I was talking about that was holding the area. And in all honesty, all they had to do was, as soon as those airlock doors opened up, they just swing that big shield, wah, bam, and they're going to crush everybody. They're not crushing anybody. They're holding them in place. They had that first whack, and that was as nasty as they got. That's when the sacks started spewing fluid all over the place, because the sacks were crushed. Yeah, I'm done with those jokes right now because honestly, it's making me uncomfortable. I guarantee at least one or two of you out there just crossed your legs. But yeah, they did take it easy on him. They literally just held him until they gave up, and it was that simple. So you were right. You were absolutely right. Okay, I screwed this up. I actually look up old. Oh, had to look up old movies to understand this. Okay. Let's see. Somebody said, "Thank you for the Death Star reference. The only reason I used the Death Star reference is for scale. I didn't want it to be the actual Death Star itself. Honestly, I want it to be more like the Super Dreadnought or whatever the hell you call it in 40K, the Super Duper Ultra Megalicious. Holy shit, what the fuck is that thing, Dreadnought from 40K? Those guys, the power levels that they're talking about, they could fire one broadside and end a planet. I mean, just crazy. But that's originally what I was going for, but I needed something of scale. And can you think of another one? Again, I'm all ears. All right. Somebody actually brought up in the comments section that most science fiction has turned into, as he put it, emo and goth and cyberpunk future, like Appleseed or Ghost in the Shell or something like that. Or I didn't think Cowboy Bebop really fell into that, but I guess it kind of did when you think about it, and kind of not. But I try to stay away from those guys. I do try to, just because a lot of them just make you go, "What's the point? Just send the asteroid, blow the super volcanoes. Let's do this thing." Because what's the point? God dang it! Hold on. Sorry, guys. Oh. I don't think I'm going to be on for too long because my sinuses are going absolutely nuts. Uh, Okay, the last bit of notes as far as the comment section is like I said before, it's the end of the Galactic War games unless they're no longer games. And again, I'm going to be watching to see the count on there, to see the view count, especially on the last episode of this season, to see how far it gets. If it breaks 2,000, I'll switch it into the pile. Usually I wait till 2,500, but we'll see. And it really depends on all you, just like what's my drink cozy says, you're all bad motherfuckers. So on the rest of my notes here, I want to bring up some good news. We actually got some good news over the past 2 weeks. And thank you, God, Star Trek Discovery, also known as STD, is gone. It is over. It is now non-canon. And thank you, because that show sucked so bad. Oh my God. I just watched the reviews. The reviews are only a couple of minutes. And even the reviewers, there's one, I kid you not, he's sitting there just banging his head into the wall, just sitting there going, "It's so bad." But what is not bad is I have to hold up and wait a minute. We got a $10 super chat from MTF Guard. How you doing, Guard? I hope you're doing well. Let me write this down. And he says, "First paycheck of the year, Sin. Hopefully things get better this year, and maybe jackasses will quit unsubscribing from you." Okay, you brought up a good point, Guard. And you know what? Here's the fun part. I've been checking in with a few other content creators that I know. And a lot of us, what's happening is we're being what they call capped. You're allowed to go up a little bit as far as subscribers, and then they start minusing you. It's like they won't let you bypass a certain point. Now, can I guarantee that's what's happening to this channel? I cannot, because I am not super duper holy shit techno literate. However, those people who are super duper holy shit techno literate are the ones saying that, because there's certain channels that start out so well and they're just bleeding subscribers. And when they do live streams, they're getting 3, 4, 5,000 people watching at a time. So take it for what it is. And I do appreciate you, Guard. I really do. And I hope you're right. I hope I will I will start losing the unsubscribing and get more subscribing, because hey, it's motivation for me. Speaking of motivation, you ever have some time where you actually just get right in the zone? That was the one that dropped last night. It was while I was doing war games. That was in the back of my head. I started writing, and I'm like, "Oh, it's flowing out of me. It's flowing out of me." Yeah, if I held on to it for another couple of days, I'm sure I'd have more notes in there, make it just a little bit better, a little bit more icing on the cake. But you guys seem to enjoy it, so hey, awesome. But that's what happens when you're in the zone, man. You're in the zone. Oh, god damn it. Excuse me. Okay, back to the notes. And yes, STD was removed, Star Trek Discovery. Thank you, God, because that was just woke garbage bullshit. Wow. Just wow. Just wow. I knew people who had been Star Trek fans as long as I've been alive. When that show came out, they stopped watching all Treks. It was that insulting to them. I'm like, wait a minute, don't you have a whole bunch of the uniforms? And I shit you not, he looked at me and said, not anymore. What'd you do with them? Threw them out. Really? Well, no. Oh, good. You didn't throw them out as much as you paid for them. No, I burned them. Well, motherfucker, if you're that pissed off, well, yeah. It's no wonder they removed it from canon. Then again, half the uniforms, they're actually costumes, that he had really didn't fit him anymore. The guy's gained more weight than I have. And I got to hold up and I got to wait a minute because we got another $5 super chat from someone who is so truly outrageous. Erica Gem. She says, Happy New Year's to everyone. May it be filled with joy, hope, light, healing, good health, love, and wealth for all y'all. And I hope you're right, Erica. I truly do hope that you are right as well. And healing and good health, actually, those go together. Especially if we're finally able to use frequency healing where it's not against the law. Because I just came across another article. I should have wrote it down exactly where. And turned out somebody was treating folks with frequency. They actually had their own frequency resonator. Now, if you buy one and you're using it on yourself, that's legal. If you buy it and somebody in your household decides to use it even without your permission, it's a felony. I'm like, what? Riddle me this. What the hell? How does that work? Anyway. Pulling back from Star Trek STD, we got another piece of good news, folks. Finally, another good piece of good news. And this is for you Star Wars fans out there. The assholite is gone. Yes, the acolyte has been completely removed. It is not coming back. And they're talking about removing it completely from canon. As in gone, it's out, it's over, goodbye, see you later, go get hit by a truck, and feel free to let the pressure door slap you on the ass on the way out. And I'm glad they're getting rid of some of this woke garbage because it's just, I don't know how well, actually, I take it back. I know how they're financially staying in place. And it's really silly. It's because some super rich pieces of garbage are funding all this stuff. But now they're pulling their funding because people are pissed off at these super rich guys for actually funding this stuff. So they're not buying the woke stuff anymore. So once it hurts their bottom line, then they change their minds. They won't change their minds until then. Excuse me. Oh, and I hate getting a cold. But yes, the acolyte is thankfully gone. Oh God, that was the thread, the string, what they were talking about instead of the farce. I'd rather watch Spaceballs. Seriously, you're better off watching Spaceballs anyway, because Spaceballs with the Schwartz, that was just good. And yes, I see you in the comments, and I see that your Schwartz is as big as mine. Now let's see how you handle it. And that's the way to do a dirty joke. And honestly, I didn't have too much in notes because, like I said, I've been a little under the weather. Plus, I've had to go out and help my brother and help everybody out. Plus, it's the holiday season. You guys know how it is because guess what? I wasn't here last week, and I hope everybody did also have an amazing Christmas. I hope you guys did all your drinking of your eggnogs and passed out on the sofa and then didn't wake up with something drawn on your face, because I've seen that happen. And yeah, I've seen guys get the shit kicked out of them the next day. Did you do this? Yeah, it's funny. Wham! So like, dude, calm down. You're going to make him lose all his teeth. It's funny. That being said, let's go up into the comment section. We don't have too many people in at the moment. And all the way up, it seems like everybody's just wishing each other a happy new year and wishing me one as well. Thank you very much. Guard says, it's crazy time I got to... Hold on. And it's crazy. This time I got an ad for a prosthetic GoFundMe. Huh. TBH might do it because it's being hosted by Children's Hospital. Yeah. I hesitate on some of those just for one reason only. You don't know where the money's actually going. And they actually had, and this was a couple of years ago, I believe it was the Red Cross, or no, I take it back. It was a hospital. It was a hospital. The guy went up and he said, what piece of equipment do you need? And they said, we need something. It was like a CAT scanner or MRI machine, something, just this really, really expensive piece of equipment, because theirs kept glitching out. He actually had it delivered, and they got mad at him, and they said, no, you should have just gave us the money. We would have bought it. He's like, you got the machine. It's being installed. It didn't cost you anything. What are you bitching about? So as some of those, I mean, don't get me wrong. Children's Hospital, yeah. I'd rather we actually have the technology we're supposed to have to fix the kids, because, yeah, that reaches into me and twists and pulls and then rams it back in. It doesn't sit well with me. Okay, up here, Guard also says, got slammed last night with 10 mini bottles of Fireball. Hold on. Wait a minute. Holy shit. We got a demon in the chat. Ooh, da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Guess what? We have a demon, and he dropped a huge super chat. And let me just finish writing this down. He says, Happy New Year, everybody. Today was a pleasant surprise. Work cut back the mandatory overtime just for today, and Cinna's streaming just works out for me. That's you. I hope your year is better I hope this year is better for all of us. May the force be with you and live long and prosper. Why the hell not? I will take it. I will definitely take the live long and prosper. I will take the live forever and prosper, if you don't mind. And yeah, actually, that was one of the things people started asking about in the comment section. Hold on, folks. I'm fighting a sneeze. Son of a bitch. Oh, God. Oh, I hate those where they hang and they hurt. Okay. Ugh. Somebody brought up in the comment section where when the technology actually reaches the point where you are essentially immortal, you can stop yourself from aging, or you regress your age every year by 1 year, and you can repair the meat suit so you're basically at your prime age. Would that be something that everybody would want? Of course not. Of course not. Nobody should be forced to take a medical procedure like that. If you don't want it, then why would I force you? I would never force you. You want to sit there and have somebody stand next to you, hold still, that's on you. Okay? I will never force anybody to do any medical procedure they don't want. That being said, there are exceptions to the rule, but the exception is the exception for a reason. It is not the rule. Very important. So, yeah. I mean, if I don't have to worry about getting older, because I got parts of me that are falling apart right now. I mean, my knees are still going. I go see a chiropractor now once a week. It's terrible. You should have seen the look on her face when she pushed down on my spine. It sounded like all my knuckles cracked at the same time. Hurts like hell the first time, but I'll tell you what, you're just going to go, ah, ha, 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 ha. Then all of a sudden they try to grab your neck and pull your head off. That's always fun. But anyways, if they can keep you in maximum health, the only thing they got to worry about is a few separate items. One, the sudden burst of population, because if they're able to maintain your body at maximum health, that means they're going to get rid of all the bugs that are in your system, which means well, for lack of a better term, people are going to start fucking, and they're going to be fucking a lot. And you're going to have a lot of people say, oh crap, you're pregnant? Well, I guess I'm stuck with you for the next, 18 to 20, taking care of this. And there's going to be some issues there. You're also going to have to deal with the zealots. There's going to be zealots not only of religious, but also of people who want to hold on to the fear that gives them money. They want to hold on to that. They're grabbing onto it like it's their own tiny little nuts. But hey, you can't. The more you hold back the technology, the worse it's going to be when it finally is let out. And they want us dammed up forever, but you can't do that. Eventually the dam will break and everybody will get the technology. I just hope I'm around to see it and actually use it. That'd be nice. But there's so many different things. I was about to do a actual series based on that and go through each different factor: social, religious, economic, political, and all the way down, all the way through. Sorry, I forgot the word I'm looking for. But when it comes to birth rates and stuff like that, I was going to do the whole thing, but I was like, you know what? I don't have time to do that and stories, so it is what it is. So anyway, as I scroll up, thank you again, Demon, Erica, and Guard. I appreciate it. And let's get back into the chats here. Let's see if I can see where in the hell I was at. I don't know. Let's see. Oh, Demon's already saying, didn't think there'd be a stream today. What a pleasant surprise. Almost wasn't a stream. You sure me later. I sneezed so loud I thought I broke a window. Guard says, oh, and fem studies have been retconned out of existence by the original creators. The okay. The female something starty folks, the Emperor's personal guard. They have been retconned out of existence by the original creators of them and the people who have been working on their books for the past 10 years. This is what I say about existing content, people. You can't just change it on a freaking whim. This is what drives people absolutely crazy. It's like changing an actor like mid-season. What? And then changing the way that their character completely acts just because you have a whim and thinking everybody's just going to go with it. No, it doesn't work that way. Now, granted, there are limitations. Case in point, Hugh Jackman is a perfect example of this. The original Wolverine from the comic books, I believe, was 5'4", 5'3". He was really short. Like they showed it during the Deadpool movie when he got up and he's like, "Oh, the little Wolvie." Yeah, he was actually that small in the comics, even though he was just broader than the freaking grill of a Mack truck. But obviously, Hugh Jackman is not that small. I think he's like 5'11" or 6 foot, something like that. He's a tall dude. He's the higher end of average on that. You got to work with what you got, people. You just got to work with what you got in that situation. The only time you've ever not had to deal with that sort of thing is the redheaded chick from the Mandalorian. When they brought her in, that was the original voice actress, which I appreciate that she was able or willing and able to do the role. I appreciate that. Even though the Mandalorian has totally shot itself in both feet and both knees at this point. I could fix it though. If Disney wanted me to, I could fix it. It wouldn't be that hard. It'd be about a 2-hour movie, but I'd fix it. And then they'd be just loving life after that. Let's see. Let me go down here after everybody else wishing Happy New Year's. Dustin says, what happened to... Okay, I think you typed it wrong here. I'm trying to... Suffice fiction cerebral that made you think of a hopeful... is a Section 31 movie, also not canon. Section 31. That's the Trek thing, if I remember correctly. That's about the time I stopped watching it. They brought that into the space station one, and I couldn't stand the space station because it was a blatant ripoff of Babylon 5. I don't know much about the Trek movies, so I can't comment, unfortunately. Let's see here. We got Guards again. He says, something I find funny is that I help out with paying bills for my parents, even though I live by myself, since I'm on their phone plan and all that. And my mom told me not enough room. Okay, as for somebody who keeps getting roped into helping family out, I can understand this. And it's family. Family is the cornerstone of our society. We start throwing that away, and we're not just going to be in Sodom and Gomorrah 2.0. We're going to be in Pompeii 2.0 because the whole place is going to just burn. Literally right around us, it'll burn. So, yeah, I don't know what to tell you on that one, Guard. I really don't. I mean, it's just a thing. Let's see. Dustin says, as for the Discovery ship, if we're Starfleet, I would have pulled everyone's disco ships out of mothballs. Heavy retrofit for the Dominion War. Starfleet need every available, even one of the Star Trek diapers. Yeah, you're right. You are absolutely 100% right. What would happen if we got in a full-on naval conflict with the entirety of the rest of the world? Well, we'd beat their ass, but we'd be taking a lot of hits too, especially if they're able to actually strike our carriers with those hypersonics. That's spooky shit. Honestly, I don't know any naval officer, and I know a few. They all worry about that. They all are scared shitless because you can't stop those things coming in. The best you can do is just turn your bow straight and take it head on and lose the catapults and hope it doesn't go too low, because if it does, it's going to blow right into where the crew compartment is, or where the bunks are, and then into the bay where the planes are, and then you're really in trouble because that shit will blow up. But you can't turn those ships that sharp or that fast. It just doesn't happen. But you're right. They should have had everything out, even if the weapons are only mildly worth it. More guns is more guns, motherfucker. What's the word you guys in 40K use? More DACA, more better? Guard also says, I'm taking 280. I'm taking 280 of your accounts. I don't use anything from your pay. Oh, okay. He's so where his mom told him, I'm taking 280 from your accounts. I don't use anything for your paycheck. Not even 10 seconds after I bought myself a $60 headset for my Xbox. Dude, the only one I've ever come across who was worse than that, and believe me, this was bad. I was in Korea, and this skinny guy, he was about as big as this bottle, no joke. The kid was just skinny and scrawny. His dad was a full bird colonel. Why he didn't go to OCS, I don't know, or go, that route. But his dad had everything. I mean, everything. Excuse me. He had the kid's account numbers. If the kid drew any money out, his dad would call him. I know because I was right there at the ATM. He just finished. I'm not even done plugging my numbers in to get some spending money. And I hear his phone goes off. He goes, hey, Dad. And his father starts screaming at him. What do you need to draw that much money for? I'm like, what the fuck? It's like, give me the phone. Give me the phone. Give me the phone. Before he handed over the phone, he closed it. I'm just like, you are scared of that man, aren't you? That's one that was really, really bad. Oh, I hope that kid got away. I hope he did. Okay, Dustin D also says, will Starfleet Academy also be stripped from canon? I have no idea. All I know is if it has any hint of wokeism in it, they're trying to get rid of it as soon as possible because everyone's just sick of it. And now that there's going to be political change on the 20th of this month, they're trying to cover their ass as best they can. Guard also says, oh, damn, a retcom. I'm actually all in for it. I'm getting the acolyte, these nuts removed from Oh, you can. I'm getting the "you can acolyte these nuts" removed from Star Wars canon. Okay, and he continues with, "Oh yeah, I'm finally on Elden Ring playthrough too. Didn't realize just how over leveled I was until I realized I just defeated like every early main game boss." I do that too whenever I play BattleTech. I still haven't finished it though. I did find out that when you're starting out, you got to get those ultra weapons. But if you go a certain way, at least for the BattleTech online game, and you can actually go to a certain mission where you start getting the good weapons, you'll find out the rest of them are easy because you're literally just blowing canopies right off the mech, taking the meat out, saving the metal, and then you got another mech to sell. Or, as I like to do, you go get yourself a couple of Highlanders, and before they even get close, you're already pumping them full of Gauss rifles and LRM 20s. By the time they even get close enough for you to use your lasers, they're missing at least one arm, limping from their mech. Almost all their weapon systems are completely fucked, and they're trying to hit you, and you're just like, doing an Indiana Jones when the guy was whipping around his sword. It's like, fuck it, bang. and oh shit. Oh, sorry, Doug. I swear to God, I didn't see this pop up on mine until just now. We got Doug Scarborough with his super chat, and he says, "Wonder how aliens will react to a combat infantryman picking up a machine gun and using it standing up, like me and you both have done." Depends on the size of the Xeno. I'm going to tell you that one. Because if they're really big, then they're not going to think it's a thing. Sorry, I'm writing this down. Almost forgot the H at the end of your name. But yeah, if they're really big, they're going to be firing that thing like I would fire a saw. But yeah, if it was something skinny, like even one of the tall whites, because there's not enough mass low enough to take the recoil of that sucker, they'll be like, "Oh, I can do that." Well, here you go. And they'll be on their backs. Oh my God. I'm sorry again, guys. Oh. Oh man, I am sorry about that, guys. It hits. It just hits like a motherfucker. But anyway, that would be absolutely funny. Especially they're like, "It's too heavy. You have to put it down." Oh, really? You're literally, and by the way, you're timing it going, "Die, motherfucker, die. Die, motherfucker, die." And the only reason you're rocking back is you'll feel your front foot lift up off the ground because it won't stay down. You're leaning forward the whole time. Douglas here knows exactly what I'm talking about because, yeah, it kicks. It's a 308 round, and you're firing 5 to 7 of them at a time. That's a lot of pressure pushing back. And it's not like a Barrett where they have the compensator on the front. That one actually pulls the weapon forward, so it doesn't actually, break your shoulder. Thank you again, Doug. Appreciate it. And let me get up here. MTF guard. Hold on. Let me say this right. "I'm your brother's, cousin's, nephew's, uncle's former roommate." Then what does that make us? Absolutely nothing, as you're going to be. You also say, "God damn it, Demon, you must have gotten your paycheck this week." Well, I'd hope you did. Most people get paid on the 1st, and if it's a holiday, you got to get paid a couple days beforehand. It makes sense. And I do appreciate everything, guys. I really do. Like you've seen here, I'm not going to do a whole pitch for cash, but I do appreciate everything. Hell, I appreciate you guys even just being here. FYI, in case you guys are watching, I still have 2 on here who dropped the full bill, so they get a full month. Brian Kemp, along with Prozac and Pancakes, they are still good for a couple of weeks. If you guys want to throw something else, it's fine, but you're still getting your shout outs regardless. Speaking of which, before I forget, I do have to say this. There is a video dropping tonight. And the title of it, if I remember correctly, that's not it. No, it's over there. I don't have time to reach it. It's called Respect and Honor. You guys are going to see it. The only reason it's not posted and waiting yet is obviously the live stream and making sure you guys get your shout outs. As soon as I'm done with the live stream and I go stretch my legs a little bit, I come back, I do the shout outs at the end, consolidate, post, advertising, all that other fun shit, and you guys will have it tonight. But I do have to say, tomorrow night, you may or may not get something. I am going to be holy fuck busy tomorrow. Just holy shit busy. You guys know those days where you already know you're going to be running so much, you're not even going to have time to, double shake when you're going to piss. Just don't do it more than twice. Any more than twice, and you're playing with it. Let's see. Guard here says, hey, for me, it's pretty much got slammed on 2 full bottles of Fireball. Oh, man. And a bottle of Jack Daniels. Did wake up with a hangover the next day. I would think so. I would think so very much. And if you know somebody who's a paramedic, tell them to get their ass over to you and put a couple of 2000s, one in each arm, and you're going to feel awesome the next day. For those who don't know, the IVs come in milliliters. They go from anywhere from 50 to 2000s. The 50s are these tiny little ones, and the 2000s are those big long ones. And I saw that in college. We couldn't figure out why one guy could drink like a fish, literally drink us all up under the table, wake us up to do shots, and the next day he's running. He's actually out there running. Well, we went to drop off his roommate one day. We found out the one who was drinking was a paramedic, and he's just right up against his bed just like this with an IV in each arm, and they're on full drip, just gushing down into his arm. And I'm just like, you son of a bitch. And you wouldn't even let us do that. We even asked him. He's like, no, these are for emergencies. Oh, so when you need them. Well, yeah. All I can say is drink an ass ton of water, put something in your body like sausage, anything greasy, or anything with high actual meat fat and salt, along with a shit ton of water, and you'll feel a lot better fairly soon. Give it about an hour for it to hit full potency, and you'll feel that headache actually drop down. It'll take all day for it to go away without aspirin, but let's see. Doug here saying, how you doing? Well, I'm doing better now. Well, to a point. Like I said, I kind of got a head cold, and you guys can probably still hear it, which is why I keep going to grab the towel there and wipe my nose, because it just comes in and wham! It's like that guy with the spices. Bam! It hits you. Demon says, I just pictured a Dullahan secretly going to a chiropractor and they accidentally pull their head off because they forgot to tell them that it's not actually attached. Oh my God. If somebody out there is some sort of comic, if you do like web comics or something, even it's like stick figures, somebody who does that, please do that comic and send it in during one of these live streams. That is going to be fucking hilarious. Okay, your back has to be, you might feel a little pressure. And then the head's upside down. It's like, what? That'd be freaking great. Oh, man. Speaking of stuff online, I'm actually backing off of anything like a lot of the web comics I used to or was reading. I'm actually done with them for like a month. I'm on a soft reset. I'm changing a lot of stuff so I can get back on track. I fucked up big time for not doing the reset I should have done about 4 months ago. I just got so caught up in everything that I was just like, whatever, can't do it. Now I'm like, fuck everything. I'm going to do it. And everybody needs to do a soft reset every once in a while. For those of you who are part of a certain faith, that's what Lent is for. Okay, if you're surrendering one thing, that is considered a soft reset. A hard reset is you're overdoing the entire part of your life. You stop drinking, you stop smoking, you stop, watching, sports or something, whatever it is that's distracting you. That's a hard reset. Almost everybody. Actually, I don't even know if he got all the way through, but I don't know too many people who actually got through a hard reset. Excuse me, folks. That sneeze is just hanging right there. It's like right up underneath my glasses, and it's just and just retreated into my brain. What the fuck? I hate those, man. They're annoying. Alan's here. He says, if all the hidden tech came out at once, we would probably jump a century. Not instantaneously. And this is what really gets me. Son of a bitch. Not you, Alan. My nose going crazy. That's the son of a bitch. A lot of people don't realize that there's going to be years and years for everybody to switch over. Even when, say, they finally release all the plans for all these quote unquote ether reactors, which is mostly 0-point energy. This is stuff, if you have the right materials and you watch a YouTube video, you can build with stuff you get out of Home Depot or Radio Shack if that was still in business. I'm starting to wonder that's why they shut it down. Anyway, it would still take months, years for people to start switching over. Okay, people still like their cars. Try to tell somebody who likes to rebuild their car they have to switch to a electrical car. They're going to tell you, hey, there's some offs outside. Go fuck them. And since you're outside, keep walking. That's what they're going to say. Just like some people just love their horses. Some people are going to love their petroleum-based vehicles. The only people that are going to hate it is people like OPEC, and honestly, I don't care. At least not for them. That being said, I was going to do, like I said, a whole series on all these different things. But one of the main things is you got to realize that manufacturing is going to take time. All these inventions over time, because they were so slow to come out, like the tractor. When the tractor came out, everybody was freaking out like, oh my God, you bought this tractor. Now what are all these farm workers going to do? You're going to put them out of work. Well, they're going to have to learn something else. It's just that simple. But it was a very slow progression to get the tractors out because it took a long time to dig the metals, to forge everything together, to build the damn thing. It took weeks to build one of these damn things. Run it through its paces real quick, plus deliver it to where it needed to go. It took a long time. Nowadays is going to be a whole lot shorter, but it's still going to take time. And people will be able to get over their shock in that amount of time. There was the, what was it? Keanu Reeves movie. He was talking to Morgan Freeman, and Morgan Freeman's like, what if we release this? Stock prices would plummet and everybody would freak out. There'd be riots. There'd be destruction. I'm like, what are you smoking, motherfucker? Seriously, I wanted, what's his name there? Motherfucker, that guy, just to be like, what the hell are you talking about? It wouldn't happen. Everybody would be so like, wow, that's kind of cool. They're going to start pulling their stocks out of certain companies, sure. But the only ones who would actually lose their stocks or lose their stock price over time would be things we aren't going to need anymore. We don't use tubes anymore either. TV tubes or tubes to basically were fuses. We don't use that anymore. It takes time, but people will embrace it. And technology speaking, yes, we would jump forward probably more than a century, because I was actually just having the same conversation with the actual chiropractor. When we were talking state of the art, I reminded her we haven't seen state of the art since 1946 when the atomic weapon was used, because that was they thought it up, they designed it, they built it, they tested it, and they used it in that order in a very short amount of time. But they were working on a whole bunch of other crazy shit. But that was the last time we saw state of the art because it was immediately used. The only way we would see state of the art again is if somebody decided to, get froggy and jump at the U.S. with some sort of, 6th generation fighter that we can't fight back on. Honestly, if a certain country thinks they can send one of these bombers that can't maneuver worth a dog shit, and they think they're going to get through the net that covers over the entirety of the Pacific Ocean, good fucking luck. Excuse me. Okay, where was I? This thing jumped. Dustin says, wolves come in different sizes, just like humans. Every other animal on Earth. Yeah, you're right. Let's see. War Sniper says, can you not shoot down hypersonics with lasers? And USA and the British now have. You could if you can get a solid lock on them. Now, the thing is, the laser that you see, the one that you can build, the little handheld thing that can set cardboard on fire in like a half a second, doesn't work so well on something that's moving at that speed. You got to remember, you got to hold it on that target at the exact point for at least a couple of seconds. When you're talking distances of 30, 40 miles, that's not a lot of time. They can cover that amount of space in like 10 seconds. It's incredible how fast these things move. Can it be done? Yes. Is it probable that you're going to get it? No. The thing with hypersonics is the fact that they go so low to the ground, like our glide bombs do the same thing. Once they go once they're dropped and the wings open up and they glide in, they get very, very, very low. And since they're very low, you won't see them till they actually come over the horizon and come at you. And that's what makes them so dangerous. That's what makes them so hard to kill, because you don't have a lot of time. And if some people who believe the world is flat, if the world was flat, you'd be able to see these things from 3,000 miles away, and yeah, you'd be able to shoot them down. But anyway, do the lasers work? You would need a hell of a strong laser to actually work, and I have not seen one that works well enough to take down a hypersonic. A standard, well, I shouldn't say standard. If you look at a Harpoon missile, anti-ship missile, that's very slow. Will the lasers take those out? Yes. It has been noted, very well noted, that they can take those out. But comparing a Harpoon to a hypersonic, there's absolutely no comparison. You're looking the difference between a P-51 Mustang and an SR-71 when it comes to speed. I mean, it's just good fucking luck. It's just that simple. Now, if you can catch one on radar, here's the key. If you can catch one on radar because you have air cover, you got your bird in the air. I'm trying to remember the name of it, and it catches this, or you get it on satellite, you can, in fact, lock onto that hypersonic. They're not stealthy. The only thing that's stealthy about it is when they fly so low. But if you can get it on radar, you can actually fire over the horizon and catch it. But you're going to have to fire a lot at it, because most of our SMs are not designed for that. They're designed to go up and arc and then drop down. They're not designed to go and then go straight. I believe the SM6 does, but you got to program it. You got to program it to do that. I believe the new SM8 that came out there, that one flies really low too. But again, I'd have to see the actual footage. Okay, here's Erica saying, bless you, from somebody in the other room who sneezed. That wasn't me. Alan says, lasers require a long heat to destroy missiles to the short engagement time. Exactly. That's exactly what I was talking about, Alan. You're 100% right. That being said, if you're using, now the thing is, there are different types of lasers. Mostly what I'm focusing on is a heat laser. In other words, just like the blue laser, if you fire anything else that's not, blue, it will scorch it in a very short amount of time. However, it still has to lock onto it. If you're using a particle laser and you have some way to actually confine the beam, yes, that will take it out. However, I have not seen a particle laser that doesn't just dissipate after about 3 feet out of the barrel. Just because it's so many tiny particles, but everything in the air is breaking it apart. It literally just splashes. It's kind of a joke. Again, if they have some sort of confinement field, I haven't seen it. Guard says, am I defense here buying a $60 headset was the cheapest one because one was 96 and the other one was 152. Both were wireless. I did the same thing for the headset that I go and work out with. I went and got the cheaper one because I'm like, I'm just going to wear this to work out. Does it sit perfect? No. But you know what? To me, it's worth the money. And even Doug saying used to fire the 60. Yeah. Oh, he's talking about you're talking the M60. Okay, I thought you were talking about the $60 headset for a second. Yeah, I never actually. Well, no, I can't say I never did. It was on a tripod. I fired up the pig once, but I was an actual 240 gunner. So, yeah. Dustin D says maybe Nidium phase energy phaser are in the works to fight the supersonic and fight at light speed. It's hypersonic, not we have supersonic everything. The F-16, F-15, F-14, they're all supersonic or can go supersonic. That's supersonic is anything over the speed of light, or sorry, over the speed of sound. So, yeah, I think you meant hypersonic. And if you can condense the beam, sure, it should work. But I haven't seen it. It continues. Have you tried to put hot sauce into your nose to clean out the snot? No, I put hot sauce on my eggs this morning to try and clean everything out, and it worked for about 20 minutes. Guard here says, funny idea for a future story. Okay, hold on. Let me get my pen out here. Okay, have a Xeno pick up a human 12 gauge, and every time he fires it, he gets launched back a couple of feet. This is my boomstick. Throw back. It's come of it, but it's so fun. He gets used to keep the gun throughout the story. Yeah, that'd be funny. Actually, you know what that reminds me of? There was an old anime movie. I'm trying to remember what it was. The guy actually had a pistol that would actually push him into a fence. If he didn't have his back against a wall or something, it literally had enough kickback to throw him backwards. Now, granted, I've actually fired the 500 from the Winchester, and even though it does have a lot of kick, it really doesn't have enough to throw you back. Anything with that much kickback would shatter both arms. The thing with the 12 gauge, I fired one and it did put me on my back, but I was like, I don't know, 10, something like that. So I was like, oh, I want to fire the 12 gauge. It's bigger. It's got to be cooler. I don't want the 20. I'm just glad they didn't give me the 10. I would have broke something. But if you hold it nice and tight, it's just going to hurt. Let's see. Oh, shit. Here's Demon says, I remember watching a video of a guy shooting machine guns, and a military guy could walk forward while shooting, and the civvies were like, I can do that, and couldn't. They tried, but just couldn't. You're right. It took some time. The first time I did it, I just about fell on my ass. I had to learn how to reposition. And you're right. You got to get really wide on the base, put a leg way forward, and lean deep into that sucker. And I've never actually hip fired a machine gun. I thought it would be cool if I did, but man, my platoon sergeant's like, you hip fire that motherfucker, and I'm gonna freaking smoke you till you die. The thing is, I know he wasn't kidding. I've seen him smoke somebody so long and so hard that, well, they ended up going to the aid station and they were out for a week. I don't know if they were really bad enough that they needed a week's rest, but they were really fucked up. Guard also says, oh yeah, I heard the Mufasa. Every time I hear that name, I shiver. Mufasa. Whew. Do it again. Mufasa. Of course, every time I say that, I keep thinking of the Ace Ventura movie. Mufasa. Say Mufasa movie crashed and burned so horribly that Disney is strong arming small movie theaters into playing more than Sonic 3. Yeah, I haven't seen Sonic. Actually, I haven't seen any of the Sonic movies, unless my nieces want to go see it. I don't think my nephew's a big fan. But if my nieces want to see it, I'll go see it. But I haven't seen any of them. However, you are right, Guard. The reviews are that Sonic 3 was a huge hit, and Mufasa, it was a total disaster because nobody gave a shit. We already know what's going to happen. This is why prequels don't work. I think 1 or 2 prequels worked in the whole history of cinema, and that was it. Let's see. Douglas says, at least the stuff he got drunk on and not Uzo. Ugh. Yeah, talking about Fireball, I'm sure. Hold on, this thing's skipping a little bit. What the? Why is this thing jumping so much? Folks, I don't know what the hell's going on with this thing. I'm trying to get it to work. And I don't know why it's all over the damn place. Okay, it won't stay put. I don't know what the hell's going on. Okay, I think I might have it here. Okay, yeah, Dustin says, what the fuck? How do you deal with Xenomorph's blood acid while shooting splashing Xenomorph guts? Stand farther back. That's what I would say. Of course, I actually had to say that same thing to my ex-girlfriend, so we'll leave it at that. Okay, SS Demon says, yeah, spoilers for the movie. The main villains are pure white lions. Mufasa was never a king. Scar was always the true king. They just retconned crap and made Mufasa an asshole. Yeah, they're doing that with all the Disney villains now. All of them. I mean, the Wicked Witch of the West, one of the most evil villainesses of all time, second only to the bitch from Cinderella, who's actually voiced the Sleeping Beauty evil queen too, by the way. Yeah, they're trying to make you feel better about these villains. Like, oh, they're just bad because they got bad stuff happen to them. Feel bad when the hell. Down here, Dustin says there's one Radio Shack open in Michigan. Cool. I thought they were completely done. I'm glad to be wrong about that. I'm glad they're still up. Guard says, fun fact: in Sweden, there's a radio station that plays the Spinning Seal song 24/7 without any commercials. I don't know what Spinning Seal is. Not off the top of my head. Demon says it's actually funny. Disney is actually buying our theaters to prop up Mufasa and block Sonic 3, but Sonic is still kicking Disney's ass. Are they being kicked so hard that somebody's getting their foot stuck up in them? Just like in the Galactic War Games. Let's see. Dustin says even bike tubes are being replaced with tubeless tires slowly. Well, honestly, they should have been a long time ago. The only reason why you would need a tubed tire for your bike is if you're not going to be on the roads. If you're on the roads, you don't need a tube tire because most of the roads are clear. If you're going anywhere where you're going to have a lot of debris, then yes, you would need one. But yeah, it doesn't make any sense for a lot of, now again, situational dependent. If you have a 10 speed that's specifically supposed to go on the roads, why would you have tubes in your tire? Unless you want it. I'm not as much of a bike rider as I used to be, but I don't see, again, unless there's a lot of debris where you would think, oh, the tube goes and then I got to replace it. Okay, Erica says, Syntax, there's a pressure point or two. It's a little below your eyes and just above the cheekbone. If you massage it gently and pull down, it clears the nose up. A little below the eyes and just above the cheekbone. Okay. So over here, then, out wider. Yeah. It hasn't been building up lately, so we'll see if that works. Okay. Guard says, something I find hilarious about Soulsborne game is that in a cutscene, the character's mouth will move and all, but the actual gameplay, their mouth doesn't move at all. That's weird. So wow. Somebody coded that wrong. That's for sure. Okay, give me a second. Let me scroll here for a second. Bite Me saying the movie is Chain Reaction, and the motherfucker actor is Samuel L. Jackson. Yeah, motherfucker. Why are you holding up our technology, motherfucker? Hey, TikTok, motherfucker. Yeah. Say that enough times and this whole thing will get flagged, but why not? Motherfuckers don't care. Let's see. Doe says there was a missile that was fired at Hawaii a few years ago, and the missile was shot down by a UAP that overtook it and shot it down before disappearing back into space. Word was it was witnessed. Now, the missile that was fired in the direction of Hawaii, I think they were aiming at Guam and they missed, honestly. I don't think it was actually heading or going to hit Hawaii. In all honesty, Hawaii is a tiny, tiny little archipelago in the middle of this huge, vast ocean. And yeah, the North Koreans don't have the ability to strike precise targets. They would be better off aiming at Kansas and they might hit Saskatchewan. That's how bad it is. But I don't know anything about it getting shot down. I know it crashed into the ocean, but that's all I got. He continues with, and briefly, there was a video of it happening, and the Chinese sub that fired it was imploded by a Really? Okay. So a Chinese sub shot it down. Oh no, the Chinese sub that fired it was imploded. Oh man. So yeah, if an actual Chinese sub imploded, chances are it was shot. I gotta hold on, and I gotta wait a minute because we got a whole $100 super chat by our friend Chris Dixon, and he says, "Dang it, I'm late." Oh, you're not too late, that's for sure. Sorry there. I wanted to say something else, but like I've been saying to everybody, Chris, I'm a little under the weather. So if you see me just suddenly stop and cough or wipe my nose or whatever, that's how it is. I would have a liquor in here to really clean myself out or something, but I really not want to get schnocked when you guys are on here because I'm going to end up doing all this whole crap, and I don't want to look all that bad. But thank you so much, Chris, and you're getting your monthly shout out here. That's for sure. And let me scroll up so I don't miss anything. Guard says the motherfucker for a boss in Elden Ring just ripped off a dragon's head and is now having it fused to his arm. Wow, Elden Ring is weird. I don't play it, so you guys are gonna have to let me know. Is Elden Ring just that weird, or is this just a mod or something? Oh, and he says, "Oh, by the way, the dragon is alive. Wonderful. Oh, that's nice. The dragon's arm that wants to kill you is now attached to you." Oi. Doug says, all AERs hushed up and disappeared. Oh, of course they did. For those who don't know, an AER is an after action report. And of course, those will be hushed up and just go disappear like a fart in the wind. Or like one of my dates when they see me. Let's see. Let's see. Demon also says, hey, the P-51 can take a Blackbird if it's grounded. Yeah, hey, come on. Let's see. Dustin D says, even Starfleet phaser can destroy torpedoes, but needs high power and heat. Yeah, a lot of that, though, is science fantasy, the way they did their weapons, because they had to work with what technology they had for the special effects. But yeah, it would just take that much. Now, if you look at the like Babylon 5, they actually had interceptors, which were a type of torpedo themselves. It was a slightly guided ballistic munition, and they would actually crash into everything else. That's like hitting missile on missile. So, but yeah, if you're talking just a few seconds of intercept time and you want to fire a laser at something you didn't see coming, good luck. Demon here talking about how the weapons fire you back because he says that reminds me of Men in Black when Will Smith got the noisy cricket, and complained how small it was, and then sent him flying. That was a good scene. Yeah, it was a good scene if you don't think about it. I mean, let's face it, it was a goofy movie, and you just kind of have to let your suspension of disbelief go. However, when he fired and got his ass stuck in a windshield, all I can say, guess what? You just broke your ass. I know it's already got a crack in it, but your pelvis is now in about 6 pieces, and gotta help you what's just happened to your vertebrae. Because those windshields don't really give all of that much. I mean, they will give much better than the top of the car, but still, it's bad. Plus, when he went flying through the other window, I'm like, come on, dude. But of course, Will Smith would complain that his is too small. Never mind. That was too easy a joke. Doug says, the main reason I used to have to carry the M60 was because I am 6 feet tall. And when I was 17, I weighed over 240 with my ribs showing. Holy fuck, dude. What'd you... if you're showing your ribs at 240 pounds, your body mass index was down below 10%, actually well below 10%. You're getting close to 5, and you're in the danger zone, motherfucker. That's worrisome. That's very worrisome, actually. If you go, I believe it's 4 or 3%, you're in a very, very, very dangerous zone. And bodybuilders have been known to just keel over at that point. They just drop that's why as soon as they're done with the competition, the very first thing they do is they just shove calories down their throat because their body needs it so much. But yeah, if you're 240 pounds of sheer muscle, what are you, one-handing the M60? Just kind of holding the other arm out to make sure the belt goes in. You know, like the man says, go clockwise for those who understand time, and left-handed feed for those who understand timing. Yeah, Doug gets it. Anyways, Dustin says in Cyberpunk 2077, most over shotgun. The Carnage family had real overpowered kickback and blew off most users' shoulders without cybernetics, and even with cybernetics, still pushes back user. I think that's Blockbuster. 2 to 5 feet. Oh, pushes the user back 2 to 5 feet. Yeah, I could see that. And there was actually an anime a long time ago where, this was back in like the 90s, where a lot of 80s anime was coming out too, to like Blockbuster and stuff like that. And sure enough, they did have that where a guy got enhanced and he had his pistol, and he got in a position where his partner, a woman, had to actually use his pistol. She went to fire it one-handed. When it fired, it broke all the bones, not only in her hand, but in her forearm, and cracked the one over towards her shoulder. Anyways, she ended up having to use her other arm, and for some reason that one held up, but she's still trying to, brace with her broken arm. I'm just like, yeah, if you got that much kickback, that's exactly what's going to happen. That was played smart. Played into the story really well too. Douglas also says, I'm sadly over that now, but with a broken neck and back, it's difficult to Oh, son of a bitch. Okay, you win. And he says, my wrists are over 11 inches around. Dude, fuck. That's meaty. Okay. I actually know for a fact from the thumb to my forefinger is 8. So if your wrists are bigger than my forearm, motherfucker. Holy shit. I guarantee everybody's handing you the jar of pickles saying, can you open this? Let's see. Dustin actually is asking Doug, what do you think is the cover? Is the cover power guns and cyber? I don't know. The cover guns for that. I haven't seen it. Oh yeah, Guard was wondering where Chris was. Oh, he's here. He's a little late, but he's here. Dustin says, I thought that wintertime is supposed to be slower for Syntax. That's why I'm more busy this week coming up. Oh, then why are you more busy this week coming up? Honestly, it's not the week. Sorry, hold on. This one just went right up into my eyes. Ah, son of a bitch. Ah, I hate that. That is driving me crazy, and I do apologize again, guys, because that's... Okay, that was disgusting. Anyways, the holiday season just ended. As far as tomorrow goes, I got to help my dad. I got to help my sister. And I got my own weekly bills I got to go pay. I make sure it's either the first or the second of the month. But since it's New Year's and nothing was open today, I have to deal with it tomorrow. All right. I also have to deal with the town hall tomorrow. It's just going to be a busy day. It's just that simple. However, I should be up and running, and I'm going to be doing single stories for a while after that. And then I'm going to be pulling from the list here of all the different series. Let's see. I don't know if I'll be able to do ambush predators. That's a lot of research. We got war changes. Humans don't. Along with the isekai, that's in there too. Which one is this? Hold on. I got to reset this folder. Oh, yeah. They call us monsters. Actually, that's in there twice because it's so damn long. Let's see. Trading with humans on Earth. That's a recent one, guys. You guys actually I got a lot of views on that one. Unwanted species. You guys said you wanted that. Fight like humans. A lot of you guys like the thumbnail on that. Guys, I didn't make the thumbnail. I found that on just an image search where you got the reptilian holding a pulse weapon. Basically a big railgun, but he's hip firing it. And then you got, which human clan is that? That's the other one that's in here. Oh, man. So anyways, like I said, it's going to be single one-offs for a while. Just because, again, I'm trying to get my subscriber count up. And hopefully YouTube's not still trying to freaking cap off my subscribers here. And, yeah, fun shit. For those of us who weren't with me early on, when I say cap off the subscriptions, everybody I know who actually makes content, their subscriber count hasn't gone up in months. They keep waving towards the top. Like people subscribe and then they just unsubscribe someone else just to keep them in that certain group, no matter the views, no matter what. And it's driving everybody crazy. But it is what it is. But anyway, but yeah, the week isn't busy. It's just tomorrow is really busy. After that, hell don't open and the creek don't rise. I'll be able to do more stories. Chris is here. Hey, Chris, how you doing? He says, I'm not dead yet. Happy New Year. And of course, he did reply earlier with, dang it, I'm late. Let's see. Dustin says, just because a man's gun is small does not mean the kickback has to be little. Sorry, I altered your comment there a little bit, which is true. I mean, let's face it. You ever fire a judge? If you guys don't know, a judge is a revolver that can fire 410 shotgun shells. Even though the damn thing's heavy, it still has a kick. You better be holding on to it. Yeah, yes, War Sniper. I did notice him. Let's see. Dustin says, sounds like Douglas could use a cybernetic back replacement and a cybernetic back and neck replacement, but we're not there yet. Honestly, I don't think cybernetics is the way to go. At least not yet. I think augmentation, bringing people back to their prime, and then using an exosuit, I think is a better idea. However, certain cybernetics aren't bad. if you're predisposed to a certain condition, having something attached to you. I mean, hell, we have cybernetics now. It's the thing people put on their arm to monitor their glucose levels. That's a cybernetic. A pacemaker is a cybernetic. We have cybernetics. A cochlear implant is a cybernetic. So we do have them. We just don't have them to that level yet. But the reason I say rebuild and use the frequency to heal them up, and the CRISPR to make it stronger, instead of the cybernetics, because you still haven't fixed the problem. You've just thrown a very, very thick bandage on it. But that's like taking one of the bandages I use or used to use in my kit and wrapping it around a bullet hole and saying, okay, you're good now. You should be able to sprint. No, they still got the hole. You got to fix it. You fix that problem, and guess what? You're even better than you were before. Chris says, by the way, thinking of throwing lead downrange. I'd love to watch a Jedi deal with that. I was saying that long before people were making videos about it, where they would sit there, Vader sitting there going, you don't know the power, and friggin' turning on his friggin' giant red laser dildo. And it's like, you don't know the power of the dark side. Just be like, really? Pull out your 45 or 9mm, bang, just like right through the beam, turn into molten slag, and then freaking slapping him in the face. And then all of a sudden, all his stuff, all his components inside start friksing and frying. He's like, what the hell is it? What the hell's going on? All of a sudden, it melts through. He starts trying to tear the shit off, even though he's already burned the shit underneath. And then, of course, what's he going to do? As soon as it starts burning and flinching, you shoot again. If he's busy trying to get this stuff off his face, you just put a bullet into his skull. Done. I think it was how it should have ended. They did a kind of shtick on that, where it was the Obi-Wan and Anakin fight, and Anakin pulls out a Desert Eagle and freaking puts a bullet through Obi-Wan's abdomen. And they're like, oh, you can't use those. You don't use solid slugs. Yeah, they do. Mandalorians did it. But I still have the high ground. Bang. Oh, shit. That was a good one. Okay. Douglas also says, Dustin, the tech exists in the black budget stuff, and it won't be released anytime soon. Not if they can help it. The thing that broke my neck and back was both the military and getting hit by a 9-inch drill pipe. Ow, drill pipe in the head in the oil field. Son of a bitch. They do not pay you guys enough for that. I've seen some of these roughnecks. I mean, they're bulky guys because you have to be. I mean, you're moving some heavy shit around. And I don't think you guys get paid nearly enough for that shit. I mean, seriously. And this thing just jumped on me. I hate when it jumps on me. There we go. Hold on. Okay, here we are. But yeah, you guys... Yeah, I got slugged in the spine when I was young by a 4x4. And it didn't do as much damage as I thought it did. It loosened up one of the discs in my vertebrae that I ended up slipping later in life. But I was able to, get it back into place. So harm, but no foul, so to speak. But yeah, those pipes got absolutely no give. No give at all. You have my sympathies on that one. Let's see. Chris saying, thinking of thumbnails, anime waifu seem to get attention. Maybe a multi-tail fox lady. Depending on the story, like a certain isekai perhaps, that will become a thing with a 9, 12, or 15, or however many tails of fox they might have. Because there's a certain person, War Sniper, that just loves the foxy ladies. Even though a kitsune is one of the most dangerous femme fatales in all of literature. I mean, seriously, you don't even know what you're doing. I mean, hell, they're so bad that the SCP folks made a whole big story about them. And they actually held very, very close to the original literature. So yeah, they're dangerous. Just like the excuse me. Just like in Star Wars, you got the tailheads. Everyone's like, oh, they're just a slave race. They're just a slave race. no, if you actually listen to people talk about it straight from the original books that are non-canon, those were some mean motherfuckers. Why? Because they had to be. Okay, Douglas here says there's a revolver that fires 12 gauge rounds. Yep, it's a 5-round cylinder. I've seen that. Never fired it, but I've seen it. Leonid, I don't know if I'm late to the stream. Maybe a little. See, Bite Me says the reason the tube is doing that subscriber thing is the new AI algorithm is trying to screw ad revenue from creators. That I will believe that you're probably right. I believe that's true because I've had back in my original channel, I was getting demonetized left, right, and center, and everybody was telling me, "Hey, they're still putting commercials on your stuff." I was like, "What?" So I got on this channel and I looked it up, and sure enough, it was jam packed with commercials, and you couldn't skip them. And then off to the side, they have the commercials up there. I'm like, "But it's demonetized. What the fuck, over?" But yeah, I'm firmly believe that you're right, and they're trying to squeeze as much money out before a certain group of people get into political positions because they're going to put the halt on all this. And the gravy train's not just going to slow down; it's going to stop and get thrown in reverse. They're going to be, going through ludicrous speed, and you're going to pull the emergency brake. Let's see. Dustin says it might be weird to have mantis blades or grenade or gorilla arms flopping out of a real life human. Yeah, I would say so. Mantis blades. Mantis has those, things. And he continues with like what advertisement is on this channel. Like, yeah, I don't have control over what advertisements are put on there. That's just not what I can do. It's all up to YouTube and all them. Lena says Star Wars has slug throwers. Yes, I know that's what they call them, slug throwers. And honestly, that's fairly new that they threw that in. Just because everybody realized how kind of ridiculous science fantasy was, which is why every single time you put and I know I've said this before, when you put faction versus faction and you're mixing well, maybe not 40K because they always win because the power levels are so goddamn high, but say Mass Effect versus Star Wars. Star Wars loses, even though the Mass Effect ship is real tiny in comparison. But the fact of the matter is, when you actually break down the real firepower, the fact that it comes down to the Star Destroyer can't, which is a battleship, it can't hit that tiny little ship. But that tiny little ship has a weapon so strong it can cut almost clean through this battleship. One or two strafing runs and you're done. And God help you if he gets behind you and starts slicing through the engines, you're going to have a compounding effect and everything's just going to domino all the way through and kaboom. There you go. Doug says, at one time my neck was 27 inches around, and now that I've lost weight, my neck is down to 23 inches. It's still fairly large for a neck, man. But yeah. Oh, and of course, there's War Sniper going, did I hear Konsune? Huh? What? Don't worry. If they want my essence, I will give them my essence. Hint, hint, wink, wink, nudge, nudge. There you go. Oh, man. I hate these sneezes that just hang there. I'm sorry, guys. I am really sorry because that's just getting annoying. I'm trying not to either sneeze directly onto the camera or anything like that because that would just be rude. But, the show must go on. See, Chris Dixon says, so Kitsune are like dating natural redheads. Yeah, pretty much red on the head, fire in the bed. You know how that goes. And, it reminds me of the old questions. How do you know when you satisfied a blonde? She goes, next. How do you know when you satisfied a brunette? She goes, oh, that was fun. You want to get married? How do you know when you satisfied a redhead? She finally unties you and she puts a little bit of iodine on the scratch marks up and down your back. Let's see, Leonid's here. He says, if you know what the Dreadnought looks like in Babylon 5, then you know what their destroyers look like. Yeah. Yeah. Their destroyers were, honestly, I'd call them escort destroyers. I mean, they're very, very light for the amount of firepower that's being thrown around in that show. But the thing is, the Dreadnought in Babylon 5, actually, which one? The thing is, if you're actually going by what they called a Dreadnought, they actually never called a ship a Dreadnought. I actually went and looked it up. Everything was a destroyer. It was either well, no, I take it back. The Dreadnought with the multiple turrets, that one was still classified as a destroyer, but it was called a destroyer Dreadnought. I know this because when I was looking up the thumbnails, I was looking at each of them, and I was trying to find a certain picture, which I couldn't find. But anyway, even the new ship they have with the double cannons in front, that's kind of almost hexagonal shape from the front, and it has those missile pods out the side, that's still classified as a heavy destroyer, not a battleship, which doesn't make a lick of sense. So, and in all honesty, all you have to do is and this is why I wish it would become standardized. When it comes to anything up in space, it's the same thing pretty much as what you have here on the ocean. You have your corvettes, are fast, nimble, almost no armor. The corvettes are basically like the pirate ships or the PT boats of World War II. They're fast, they're nimble, they carry a lot of firepower, but they can't really take a hit. So they rely on their speed maneuverability to actually get them in and out of situations. Okay, they're also very dangerous. You have your frigates. Frigates are purpose built. You can have a drone frigate. You can have a torpedo frigate. You can have a mine frigate or mine laying frigate, whatever you want to do. But frigates are purpose built. They are not a jack of all trades, even though they're fairly large and sometimes pretty quick. Not always. Destroyers have to be fast, and they have to be a jack of all trades. They have to be able to hit anything below the ocean, flying through the air, any type of ship. They got to be able to actually engage and put major damage on. However, they're very thin, but they're also fast, but they carry a hell of a lot more firepower than any PT boat or corvette, or sometimes even a frigate. But frigates, if depending on the situation, they might actually have more firepower. Above that's cruiser is basically a smaller version of a battleship. Less guns, but designed like a battleship. And then you're up to a battleship, which is multiple heavy turrets designed specifically for slug matches, where you're just beating the hell out of each other from half a light year away, or however you want to put that. Half a parsec or something. We'll just call it that. Just like ours, our battleships weren't originally designed to take out short targets. They were designed to take out other battleships. We just happen to use them to take out short targets. And then, of course, you all know about carriers and all this other fun stuff. But that's where it needs to break down to and where it has to stay. This renaming everything a destroyer or everything a battleship or everything a corvette is just bullshit. And if I want to hear that type of bullshit, I'll just listen to the way they name things over on Stargate, where everything was Emmy or something like that. 301, 302, 303, 304. And I'm like, the 30, I think it was 302 was the fighter, and the 304 is a freaking battleship. Make this make sense. Maybe because it was named by numbered by the Air Force. I don't know. Sacred Cow Shipyards really, really tore them a new one on that one. Okay, back up here. Demon says, would you rather have a friend who means well but causes harm all the time by accident, or a friend who is constantly trying to cause harm but never actually does and helps by accident? Well, honestly, I wouldn't have either. If somebody's causing harm all the time but doesn't really mean it, that's somebody you need to swat really, really hard and just tell them to knock it off. And then you have a friend who's both the good and the good on that portion. This whole you have to pick one, I never play those games ever because it's always Sophie's choice. Always. And no matter what the thing is, no matter who you choose, especially on those, somebody's got some quick comeback already planned in their head. And it's going to just make you look bad. Anyways, see, Dustin says, now the YouTube commercials had been getting longer and longer and more no skippable ads. Yeah, I've seen that. Chris saying, Katsune's, wow, just caught what it autocorrected to. Yeah. Dustin says, Star Wars ships have lousy old targeting systems patched together with duct tape. I could believe that. Or as I actually used in one of my stories, I used that line from a really, really bad Babylon 5 movie where Jakar goes, this ship is held together by little bits of wire and good intentions. And if we tried to land on the nearest planet, if we don't have a sudden or unfortunate incident with the ground, I doubt they could take off. You know, he does that line so much better than I can. Not to mention, I'm not practicing it before I do it. But yeah, you're right. Their targeting systems are horrible. They should have been able to friggin' put a laser cannon bolt up the Millennium Falcon's ass without a problem. Demon says, I can't see a Fox Girl anymore without thinking of War Sniper. Okay, I don't know if that's funny or creepy. Your choice. Okay, Legion says, I think only Fallout World uses real laser weapons. Every time some science fiction says laser gun, it's probably a railgun enhanced plasma weapon. Most plasma doesn't work. You could use plasma as a type of energy force, but yeah, railguns are usually the way to go. Most laser or energy weapons just don't make sense when you break them down. Mostly because people just want something fancy, like straight Trekkie Trek, and it just doesn't work. Okay, Bite Me says over the Dustin. He says, if you want to stop the ads, use the browser. Use the browser. That's a Kitsune. Ha ha ha. I can see why Warson never got a kick out of that. Erica's sent out 4 women you never want to cheat on: redhead, Consume, Snow Woman, and a true goddess from a pantheon. Yeah, no shit. I did mention that in one of the stories. I'm glad you actually got that one, Erica, because I did mention that Hercules got fucked over by Hera real bad. But she was just the thing is with that one in particular, Hera from the pantheon. She honestly, she had evil stepmother syndrome. I didn't believe that was a thing until I saw it happen to my nephews. It's enough to make you want to go old school and go, you know what? I believe in equal rights and equal lefts. Now leave my nephews alone. And the snow women, I'm trying to remember. They're a type of yokai. I don't remember exactly what they're called. But yeah, they are extremely dangerous, which is why I used them on that succubus story I did a long time ago. Dustin says Nova Class Dreadnought was more destroyer size than Dreadnought size. Yes, it was still. That's why it was a destroyer Dreadnought. Still had a lot of guns. Honestly, all they had to do was adjust so that they kind of went at a weird angle, kind of rotating, and they could have fired all those guns so far and so fast that the Minbari would have had no choice but to back the fuck off. Even if you can't shoot them, if you can see them because there's something behind it, you just fire in that general direction and you keep firing until you hit something. Just spray and pray, motherfucker. Demon says, I don't want to go to work. One night off is not enough. Yeah, I know that. What the? Okay, this thing jumped up like crazy. Chris says, ultimate space battle maneuvers. Drift lazily to the left, but if you really want to throw them off, you slightly turn to the right. Okay. Dustin says, Star Wars best battle move was in Rogue One, Hammerhead ramming one Star Destroyer to take out a second Star Destroyer. I thought that scene was great. I honestly did. It showed that the actual ion torpedoes, if used correctly, would be the most devastating weapon you have. The only thing they screwed up on was the fact that once that ship went adrift, it should have got caught up in the gravity well before they were able to push it. When they pushed it, with that little bit of thrust they had, it would not have enough to actually slice the second one in half, but it would have fucked it up real bad. It would have fucked it up enough that, yes, they both would have ended up getting caught in the gravity well, and down they go. Lost with all hands type situation. It was a good scene. Leonid says, the pirates don't generally need to operate a ship of the line. They just need to operate a frigate that drop mines into the water. Yeah. Yeah. Let's see. Well, the thing is, the actual the PT boats, the mines didn't work so well because they weren't anywhere near the submarines. But once they got the quad 50s on the bow or the anti-tank cannons, boys, those worked really well because they were taking down anything, especially those junks that only sit really shallow in the water. Let's see. War Sniper says, well, my personal character is a dragon and has, at this point, a harem of 21 women. We're under 9 Kitsunes. One good thing, Kitsunes share. So I have a sweet deal here. Yeah, you keep raising the numbers is going to make it really hard to write. You know that. I'm going to stick with the original numbers for the actual scene. God damn it. Oh, my sinuses are really acting up now. Let's see. Lena says, I hope the new Fate series is going to be epic. I hope for your sake. Chris Dixon, he's got some initialism here. DG is destroyer. DDG is guided missile destroyer. CV aircraft carrier. CVN nuclear powered aircraft carrier. That's interesting. I'm going to write those down. DG destroyer. DDG guided missile. CV carrier. Is it CVN? Yeah, CVN. Nuclear. Okay. I just misspelled nuclear on here, but okay. Dustin also says, was that the same ship that was destroyed in by Babylon 4 defense fire? I'm not sure which one you're talking about. As far as the Dreadnought, I'd have to go back and watch it. Leonid says, your Death Star has the firepower of a fully operational battle station. Let me say this right. Your Death Star has a firepower of the fully operational battle station. Demons, how's my fleet I sent you coming along slow? I'm just messing with you, Sin. I know that's a massive undertaking and you need time. I've been so busy I haven't been able to work on my AI civilization thing either. Yeah, it's life, man. It happens. Dustin says, that was less than fully operation. It's more than I see. Let's see. Leonid, based on the legal definition, battle cruisers couldn't have been called. Wait a minute. Based on the legal definition, battle cruisers couldn't have been called an aircraft carriers, but they still had missiles, torpedoes, and some aircraft. Yeah. The thing with battle cruisers is they were basically an upgraded version of a destroyer. Again, jack of all trades, master of none. That being said, they could still bring a lot of fun to the party. They're just not quite as fast as a destroyer or can hit quite as hard as a battleship. But yeah, most of them did have aircraft on, usually rotor wing. Dustin D, fully operational Death Star has the power of 2.5 fully powered moon. I think you went moons on that. Yeah, I could see that. Demon says, doing mandatory overtime, 10-hour days, 5 days a week, and 8 hours on Friday. My week starts on Sunday. Dude, that fucking blows. I hope they're paying you good. Leonid, oh, you mean that movie with the hammerhead crashed into this? Well, they didn't crash into it. They pushed into it. Had they crashed into it, they would have done a lot more damage. Now, the thing is, I will say this. They did follow the lore because the hammerhead Corvette, the reason why it was called that wasn't just because of the look, is because the front was extremely heavily armored. It was meant to be able to take the hits on the way in, so it could actually hit its target. Chris is here. He says most of the old PT boats were immune to most sea mines because they are made of wood. Yes, that's true. Most sea mines are magnetic. That is also true. Very few of them all use the old pressure spikes that you see in all the movies because they usually don't hit hard enough for that thing to go off. War Sniper says, on the story you're hinting at, yes, hold it by what I sent you when story with a great healer with guns happened now. Okay, yeah. I'm not going to add any more because I'm already working out the finer details before I put pen to paper. Dustin says, with the damage Babylon 5 did to the first wave. Oh, you're talking, the Severed Dreams battle. They had the original or the new destroyers. They did not have the dreadnought style at all. They had, I believe it was 2 destroyers they faced. And Babylon 5 had 2 destroyers on their side as well. Those were all pretty much the same ship. There were certain parts of that battle that made absolutely no fucking sense, but I mean, it is what it is. It was a good scene though too. Let's see. He continues. First wave of Crack's force. Clark's force did with defensive firepower. Imagine what would have happened if Babylon actually used it as the main battle gun to Clark's force. As far as I know, they did. Let's see. If we got another set of initialisms here. Frigate. FFG. Fast frigate. Oh, you fast frigate. with guided missiles. One's with patrol, the other one's on intercept. Okay, good to know. Good to know. There's a lot of different subcategories of each of these. I don't want to throw too many in there because it just confuses new listeners. Let's see. Lena says Star Wars has the best army of stormtroopers before Lucasfilm ruined them. Well, if you say so. I still think the white plastic isn't going to do too much against a 5.56 of the nuts. Okay, Chris also says, by the way, the fastest known speed of a CVN is 68 knots by the USS Enterprise. By the way, for those that don't know, 68 knots for a carrier is really fast. Those things are just ginormous. And we're getting close to the end here. I don't see too many more folks coming in as far as comments. I definitely got some stuff to work with here. And I keep trying not to sneeze into the freaking microphone. War Sniper says, I'm gone. Good sleep night, everybody. And Sin, I hope you heal fast from the cold. Yeah, me too. It sucks. I've had it for 2 days already. Dustin says, will Enterprise CVN 80 be able to beat the old speed records? You know what? That's a good question. I don't know. I don't think they're done with building it yet, are they? I know there was 2 more in production. Yep. Well, there you go. There's straight from Chris. Nope, not going to beat it. Kind of hard to beat the original. Will it do warp 7? Whatever. Or whatever it might be. So, let's see. He says the old Enterprise has 4 screws. Oh, so the new one only has what, 2 or 3? Something like that. Douglas says, I use a good cold remedy my grandmother used. Yeah, probably a hot toddy. I just haven't made one yet. And I'm just trying to fight this one off normally. Not to mention, I got a buttload of pills here. Not the least of which is, multivitamins to try and fight this thing off. 4 screws and 8 reactors. God damn, that thing must have been really, really cranking. See, Erica says, what about a gold planetary death story? Gold planetary death? I'm not sure if I'm reading that right. The gold planetary death? I don't know. I'm not sure which ones you're talking about. I don't remember doing anything with the gold. Not that I'm thinking of. Maybe I'm losing my mind here. I've done so many stories. Sometimes I forget what I've even done. Demon saying he's got to leave for work. Have a good night, everybody. And again, Happy New Year to all. Chris says its keel was actually originally laid to be a Missouri-class battleship, but switched later. Oh, so that's why. That's a good reason. For anybody who doesn't know, the battleships that we have are actually the fastest. One of the main reasons is they're so sleek and so narrow because they got to fit through the Panama Canal that turns out that they didn't have as much displacement off to the sides, which means it cut through the water a lot easier, which made them a lot faster. Lenient says, stormtroopers started firing 100 rounds during the start of the 4th movie, Plasma, and ended up as a meme that missed every shot. Let's see. Doug's thing here for getting rid of a cold. Onion, garlic, jalapeno, and 1/4 cup of sugar, 2 cups of water boiled together. Ugh. Then cooled and drank like soup. I could see the onion, garlic, and jalapeno cleaning out your nose really quick. I'd be hesitant to put that much sugar in my system right now. I'd probably get the shakes. I mean, if I had another soda right now, I would. You guys would see me. I'd actually be shaking a little bit. I've been trying to get away from sugar so much that I can't take it anymore. Anyway, guys, we've been going on for just under an hour. So, and before curry would work too. Before I end up actually sneezing right into the microphone here, and not to mention, it's kind of embarrassing the fact that I'm coming on here sick and I constantly have to wipe my nose and make that stupid noise. I'm going to have to end it here, guys. And, habaneros would definitely work. Oof. Maybe I'll just go and get some sushi with the hot sauce on the side there. Woo, that'll clean you out really good. Anyways, safety brief for everybody. Okay, if you drink, you don't drive. If you drive, don't drink. If your little soldier is going into the bush, make sure he wears his poncho. Stay away from the hard stuff, guys. It just ain't worth it. And also, make sure you guys are careful on the roads. There's a lot of weird weather going on around the world. Not only that funky fog and everything like that, which makes it hard to see, but there's black ice around. Black ice has almost killed me at least 2 times that I can remember. It ain't worth it, guys. I want to see you all back here. I want to see you all healthy next week on Syntax Live. You all take care. I'll see you later. Happy New Year, everybody.